Yeah, how's it going? It's John Carter. I decided to do my final project on gender representation in film. So, yeah, let's get started. So, a brief history of gender in film. Obviously dating back to when film first started, it was heavily male dominated, like black and white times. There wasn't a lot of female lead or strong voice, mentally, physically female characters. And if the main character was a woman, generally they would have to be they would be like weaker. They would have to be helped in order for things to like work out in the end. Um, but luckily there have nowadays, recently, 80s, 90s, films and companies have started to build focus on building strong female characters, whether that's lead or supporting. At least they're making some steps forward. So yeah, I just wanted to dive into how exactly female characters are portrayed, how the industry goes about, and yeah. So yeah, typical portrayal of women in film, um, so usually women, especially back then, sometimes nowadays, they were used for like visual, like easy on the eyes thing. This can date back to all the way like Marilyn Monroe. She was, quote unquote the first sex symbol. Um, like I said, they're usually the supporting for whoever the main man character is. Sometimes they're the one causing the problems. And again, they're just weaker characters, physically, mentally. There's really no character development for them until now. So let's just go into Disney. So Disney is doing their thing. Disney has been revolutionary with their portrayal of strong female characters. This can date back to Snow White, which I believe was their first feature film back in like the 30s. Um, while Snow White wasn't necessarily like a not that she wasn't a strong female character, she did end up needing saving in the end, but at least it put women on the right path for representation. But just to go into some more Disney characters, strong female Disney characters, these can include but are not limited to Merida from Brave, Mulan from Mulan, Tiana from Princess and the Frog, and Chica from Emperor's New Groove. And all these characters actually represent different ethnicities and backgrounds as well, which is a great thing to have. And like I said, the best part is that they're all like insanely strong physically, mentally, and can provide for themselves. Um, and I already said Snow White, but Disney has made these strong female characters that portray both physical and mental strong characters in movies, which is revolutionary. Other movies can include, Ellen Ripley from Alien, played by Sigourney Weaver, Clarice Sterling from Silence of the Lambs, played by Jodie Foster, Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games, played by Jennifer Lawrence, Leia Organa from Star Wars, Carrie Fisher, Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson from Hidden Figures, which is actually a true story, and Jackie Brown, played by Pam Grier. So, women in fair rates, women, you know, again, since when the industry started and continue to now, women have always been paid significantly less than a man, even if they have the same amount of screen time or um, used as other characters. But I want to dive into Friends, the TV show. They actually negotiated their contracts to be equal, and Chadwick Boseman, he actually gave part of his salary, his own salary, to his co-star Sienna Miller before his passing. Sigourney Weaver, she was actually only paid $35,000 to star in the first Alien, and you would think that with the success of it, she would get a huge pay increase. She was only offered, given $1 million for the sequel, which is crazy to think of. But luckily, she was given like incentives and commission for box office. And, with all this being said, women almost expect, to be handed less than what a man is because of the roles they're given and the underrepresentation that they're getting. So let's dive into the SAG strike. The recent strike, this affected not only SAG union members, but just the industry in general. It was for equal, fair pay representation in the AI usage of their image, man and women. So both big name actors, male and female, showed their support. A lot of movies were being put on hold, some even canceled. Um, Actually, I can attest to this because I was a extra in Good Burger 2, and I saw firsthand of what was going on, and it was pretty crazy to see how much it was affecting. Let's talk about men doing their part. Men, male actors know this is going on, and a lot of them have fought for equal representation, pay for women in their field. Chris Pratt fought for equal pay for his co-star Dallas Howard in Jurassic World. Again, Chadwick Boseman with his co-star Sienna Miller. Mark Wahlberg donated $1.5 million to his co-star Michelle Williams when she spoke out about underrepresentation. The cast of This Is Us did what Friends did, negotiate equal pay for everybody. And Will Smith actually gave his personal money for bonuses to his co-stars in the King Richard movie. So, representation of ethnicity in the entertainment field. So, recently you see a push for more diversity and inclusion in the entertainment field, which is a great thing. I think there should definitely be representations of all different people of different backgrounds and ethnicities. This is happening in both, not only just in big films, but also TV and commercials. I want to talk about David Schwimmer again because back in France, he actually voiced that he wanted to see more people of different ethnicities, especially women. So he dated like an Asian woman, an African American woman throughout the series. Black Panther was like one of the biggest Marvel blockbusters ever. That it was like a almost full African American cast. Ryan Coogler, who is like probably one of, if not the biggest director writers right now, who focuses on the representation and stories of African American people. Michael B. Jordan is pretty much a partner of his, and Mindy Kaling has, started a lot of her own shows and productions to underrepresented people. So my final thoughts I wanted to go through, women, they've always had it harder in the entertainment industry to generate equal pay and representation. That's pretty much out there. Whether that's through performances, ethnicity, women just naturally have it harder for some reason. But luckily, there has been a push to um, for change and equal rights, equal pay, representation for women and people of indigenous backgrounds. The male actors have been doing their part, speaking out for equal pay, opportunities for women and women of color. And, many movies and franchises have opened the doors for women to be leads. You're seeing that now with like bigger box office hits like Wonder Woman, uh, Black Widow, and all these old movies that have paved the way for opening doors for new strong female character leads and supporting. So yeah, hopefully this change keeps going on. Hope you guys enjoyed listening and watching, and thank you.